On luxury. Nice. My scent of the day was Chanel Allure Home Sport Superleggera. Wears light, but it does perform pretty good. And today was quite warm out, high 70s. So I was happy. So I have 6 fragrances sitting out in front of me. These are my latest pickups. And I'm also going to talk about some of the worst blind buys, best blind buys, and fragrances I actually outgrew and I don't wear anymore. And I actually gave them away during Easter, and I gave some to my brother that he enjoys. So, with that being said, without further ado, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit the like button, helps my channel out. So let's get right to it and let's talk about some of the worst blind buys I've ever bought ever since I started doing content. Number one, Latafa, uh, Maillard Cherry Intense. Dry down was okay, but the opening I could not get past. Absolute horrendous. Cherry Robitussin. Who wants to smell like cough syrup? Maybe if you have the flu and you come down with COVID-19, yeah, I could see that. Then you can smell like Robitussin. Some people like it, but I don't. Another one, Latafa, their version of BR540. No good. In the air, it smelled okay. On skin, disgusting. And what did I do with that one? I tossed it into the trash, literally. Les Bains, boys. Oh, nice. Sounds good. And let's see, some of the best blind buys I've ever done, ever got. There's quite a bit. A lot from the Mancera line, Montal. Let's see, Cedrat Boise, Intense Cedrat Boise, Black Prestigium, French Riviera. Ooh, what else? Eternal Wood, and a whole bunch of others. So I'm happy to have those in my personal collection. And some Zerjoffs, Creeds. In fact, the Creeds that I currently own, I blind bought, which is Royal Oud, Original Vetiver, Arofa, and Royal Water. Top tier stuff, especially Royal Water and Original Vetiver. Can't go wrong with that. So, with that being said, let's get right to it, shall we? We have Mason Osnrar, Thriller 3, Cal Cologne collaboration. So let's see what this one has to offer. Now, I have a sample of what this one is, a twist off the DNA by Yves Saint Laurent from the private line, which is number 6, Saint Surplice. And from what I hear, this one is supposed to be richer, darker, and more grown up. We shall see. So I have a test strip out in front of me. I get a couple of sprays here and see what this one has to offer. Yeah, kind of spicy. Definitely grown up. There's no doubt about that. This one's definitely mature. In the opening, it's kind of intense. I'm definitely getting something woodsy. Feels very robust. I think there's patchouli. Overall, It's not bad for a budget cologne, considering the real version is very expensive. If I'm not mistaken, I think the real one is somewhere around 600, and I'm certain you can find it through a discounter cheaper than that, but here's pros and cons. Yes, it's better to have the original, but it doesn't really last long. And this one, I'm certain it has better performance, but I do like the smell here. This is pretty good. So this was one of my free giveaways that I won off Instagram. I shared someone's free giveaway, dropped a comment, tagged a couple people, and I got lucky. And so shout out to the Set Sensei for hooking me up with a free giveaway. And I think I won out of 200 plus people. And half the time, I never win those things on Instagram. I just happen to get lucky. So I'm definitely picking up some spice, maybe a cardamom. I do get some woods, maybe some musk. Definitely spicy, and it's definitely dark. This is, I would consider, for like a professional setting, like a business setting, or like a date night. And I'm talking about, this one defines what dapper is. This is very dapper. I would probably wear a suit and tie if I'm gonna wear this, so this is very situational for me, and it's not every day I'm gonna wear a suit and tie. So this one, I'm probably not gonna reach for as much. However, for the price, cost, and budget, it's definitely worth getting your nose on and checking it out. So I will do a full review on this. This is pretty good. I am liking this one so far. I'm gonna let this dry down and see what else comes out of this. And let's see. Your name is what? Ika? I have no idea. All right, let's get to number two. Now, I did first impressions on this initially, but I want to talk a little more about my latest Zerjoff pickup. And I have 40 knots by Zerjoff. I got an amazing deal on this. And I was asking a few people about this fragrance, and I did a couple reviews. I looked up some reviews on this and I did some research, and I gotta say, this is my seventh Zerjoff currently from the Join the Club collection, and I really, really like this one a lot. In the opening, it gives me this image of smelling like money on a expensive yacht out on the Mediterranean coast somewhere. It's very fresh, salty, woodsy, ambery. I believe there's honey in this. And it has some decent sillage, and it's got some decent projection. And I want to say, far as performance and longevity, probably right after about 4 hours, I find it to sit closer to my skin. However, that doesn't mean this one is weak. This one definitely does perform. It's a really good fragrance. No, I'm talking about Xerjoff 40 knots. I don't have Udin, but 40 knots I have, and I find it to be an absolute banger. I pick up woods. I get this like salty sea breeze. I believe there is honey in this one, but if I was to say between Torino 22, which is my signature scent, this would definitely be number 2 in my Xerjoff collection. It would definitely be in my top 5. So currently, my top 5 favorite Xerjoffs would definitely be Torino 21 is number 1, 40 knots is number 2, number 3 would definitely be Tony Iommi Deified, and number 4 would definitely be Torino 23. What do I think about YSL Myself EDP? I smelled it once up in Dillard's, and it's not really my go-to. I'm not crazy about that scent. I'm not really crazy for YSL altogether, especially their main line. I like their private line more. I like their private line that's a little more pricey. I find their private line to outperform anything in their main lines. But if you like YSL, Y or Myself EDP, go for it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. It's just not my style. I like the Y line, but there's only 2 flankers that I actually like. I like the Y EDT. Yeah, kinda soapy. I don't find it to be rotten, but I can understand when it comes to that rotten soap, maybe kinda bitter opening. YO Fresh, beautiful fragrance, perfect for high heat, but it kinda has like a on my skin, slightly sour. Maybe, I don't get nothing rotten from YEDT. Maybe it's the way your skin chemistry is, which can happen, believe it or not. But I still would like to get Y Iced Cologne. I like that one. But far as that, I'm not truly huge into the Y line altogether. I don't know. It's just not my go-to. Vanilla-based cologne, depending on your budget, I don't I mean, to me, the best I ever smelled was Casmerati Italica by Xerjoff. That would be the best, hands down. Or Matiere Premier Vanilla Powder. That's another good one, vanilla-based fragrance. Far as budget friendly goes, I haven't really got my nose on anything that's budget friendly far as vanilla. Except I take that back. Juliet has a gun, I think is the name. Vanilla Vibes. Far as budget friendly goes, it's pretty good. That isn't really good vanilla fragrance. And vanilla, I'm not too crazy about, except a couple, which is Casmerati Italica, which would probably be my number 1 favorite vanilla fragrance out of anything else out there. That's just my personal opinion. This one is getting better here. So Thriller 3, Cal Cologne, Mason, Asnar. This has gotten better. It's starting to develop really nice. I find it to be smooth. Definitely spicy. Hey, what's up, Fragrance Time 3000? Thank you for joining my live stream. This is pretty good. I definitely detect some spice. I would definitely probably say cardamom. I think there's patchouli in here. This is pretty good. I do find it quite appealing, but mentioned before, this one has definitely grown up. There's no doubt about that. I do not find this one youthful. It might be challenging for some. There's another good option. Unfortunately, Perroy, Perry, Goldfont, I didn't care for that one. I ended up selling it. I think TLTG Reviews likes that one. I bought it, spent a couple days with it, and I ended up selling it. It's just not my style when it comes to a vanilla fragrance. I don't know. I'm not crazy for it. And I think I got my money back too. I don't know. Vanilla is just one of those fragrances I can't really get into all that well. I think if it had tobacco, you know, yeah, tobacco and vanilla go hand in hand. I would say, Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, hands down. But that's probably my most favorite when it comes to a vanilla scent with some tobacco. So Xerjoff 40 knots. This is absolutely stunning. I'm happy to have this in my personal collection. And I get about close to 9 hours on skin. Yeah, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Yes. Gold Fawn, I just found to be mid-level designer to me. I didn't find it appealing. I just feel like it's too basic. It's to me, the DNA scent profile is too basic. I like a lot of fragrance that's more complex with more layers that, really makes me think and puts me on a journey. What the Congratulations, Hungry? That has nothing to do with my live stream. So 40 knots. One thing I can see with this scent profile here, you could definitely wear this year round for sure. The heart settles down and it's very smooth. This one here, it doesn't take me to one place and it doesn't do this or it doesn't do that. From the opening to the heart and into the dry down, it's very smooth, which is always a plus for me. So Xerjoff happens to be one of my all-time favorite niche houses. And Fragflex and I think Beauty Live, or sometimes what's the other one? Aura Fragrance, always have tremendous prices on Xerjoff. especially when they have a sale. And that's usually the time I will pull a trigger on a Zerjoff. Other than that, I really like the quality. I like the ingredients that they use, and I really like the perfuming. So, with that being said, if I was to name my top 5 favorite niche fragrances, number 1 would be Xerjoff, number 2 would be Zaharoff, number 3 would be Boadicea the Victorious, number 4 would be Suspiro, and number 5 would be Creed. So, number 1 is definitely Xerjoff. So they just have amazing fragrances, and a lot of them perform the best off my skin. Yeah, I've been looking into that. Dutch, shout out to Dutch the Bible Thumper. He told me a lot of interesting fragrances from the Casmarati collection. I have them written down, and a couple of those will be in my collection. Best green fragrance, if you're looking niche, if you like vetiver or Monjane, vetiveria, you can rock that all year round. Mansera, vetiver sensuelle, can be worn year round, and I think it's one of the freshest vetiver fragrances on the market. Or another one, and it's moderate performing. I don't know if you're in the citrus, but somewhere up there, somewhere up top. But the Merchant of Venice, Carnival Mandarin, beautiful green fragrance, moderate performing, but it's designed for high heat, hot, muggy days. Think of something like that's kind of fizzy. Let's use Sprite, for example. Lemon, lime, bergamot, citrus forward fragrance with some little bit of herbaceous tone to it, which I believe there's terramine. I'd say I think it's like 6, maybe 7 hours, but it's such a beautiful fragrance, underrated, and a lot of people sleep on it, and it's sitting up top. Such a good fragrance. Now, if you're looking for something a little more budget friendly and something similar to, let's say, like Roja Parfums Apex Cologne, Imperium X by Fragrance World. Very green. Such a great fragrance. And I gotta say, they did a good job with this one. Sadly, it doesn't last, but that doesn't mean you can't wear it. It's another great one. And I don't know what direction you want to go as far as a green fragrance, but if you want niche and you really don't want to spend the money, I would definitely go with this one. Vetiver Sensuelle by Mancera. Hands down, the freshest vetiver fragrance out on the market. And it's not super expensive either, and it's a pretty good, decent performing fragrance. That's definitely worth it. I would definitely go that route. Yeah, I would definitely go with Mancera Vetiver Sensuelle. That would be the best place to start. You know, Mancera, for what they are, you know, directly from their website, yeah, super expensive. But if you just Google Mancera Vetiver Sensuelle, you'll see a bunch of different prices everywhere. I would probably start with Fragflex, maybe Olfactory LLC, or what's another one? maybe Forever Lux or E-Discount Parfums, or another one that is based in New York, and they're pretty good with shipping, Max Aroma. That's another place I would definitely check. Usually buy a lot from Max Aroma, and they're pretty good about getting their fragrances out to their customers. So that's a good option. And for the longest time, my mod here, Joel, talked a lot about Vetiver Sensuel because that is his favorite vetiver fragrance. And I had a sample of it. I spent time with that sample and I pulled the trigger and bought a full bottle. All right, test strip number 3. Now, initially I had a discovery set from Intelligent, which is Derek's fragrance line. More plates, more dates. And out of them all, don't get me wrong, a lot of those Intelligent fragrances are good, but only one stood out the most to me. And I had a coupon. I think it was like 50% off of a full bottle, and I only paid 30 bucks. And the one that stood out the most to me is this one, Intelligent Silver. Parents do not. Ooh, that's a toughie one. Yeah, I can understand from a parent side, especially if you wanna be a cologne collector, cologne curator. It is an expensive hobby, so coming from a parent side, I would definitely, maybe put some money away, save. But if you want some cheapies to start out with for the summertime, I would definitely get your nose on this one, Aromatic Sunkissed. Phenomenal, very refreshing. Bright citrus up top, slightly bitter with mandarin orange and smooth all the way around. And it's got this refreshing tea note in here. And this one, I find it to be slightly soapy, and there's no neroli in here, which neroli is known for giving off a soapy quality sometimes. The soap or the tea and some of the citrus and how they're blending and bumping into each other in here kind of gives off this slight soapy feel. But other than that, this is an absolute summer banger, and I really enjoy this. You just got your hands on a 5 ml decant of Tom Ford Plum. Oh, yeah, that's not cheap. That's a really beautiful plum fragrance from what I hear. So, Aromatic Sunkissed is definitely worth it. I definitely would check into that one. Another one, let's go with this one here. If you like tropical, something that's like 60 to 70% Louis Vuitton Pacific Chill, Spectrum Chill by Ahmed Al Maghribi. This is another phenomenal cheapie to have in your collection, especially for the budget cologne, especially for high heat. Such a beautiful fragrance. And currently, this is my favorite inspired twist in 2026. And I'm happy to have this in my personal collection. Let's see. Another one. Can't go wrong with this one. And the dent is starting to get there. Hawas Versace Hawas Ice. This is a phenomenal one. Or Rayhan. Aquatica, a really nice twist off Virgin Island water by Creed with this boozy coconut dry down. There's another good one. And if you like Sauvage, kind of a twist off that DNA, Aromatics Frostbite, another phenomenal fragrance that's a budget friendly. I'm not familiar with Nassim. I'm not too crazy. I don't get into every Middle Eastern fragrance house out there other than what I'm familiar with. And I'm a fan of Aromatics. What's his name? Neeb. I like what he does with French Avenue Fragrance World. I'm a fan of his line. And I like Rasasi far as budget friendly goes. Other than that, I don't go crazy for all of them. I'm not, to be honest, I think I actually gave away a lot of my budget friendly colognes because they just sit there and I never wear them. So it's pointless to even own them, right? So I tend to give them away, usually after I get done reviewing them. When did I start my collection? Well, you know what? That is a good question to ask. Uh, Back when I was a kid, back when I was a teenager, should I say, back when I was 12 years old, I had a few. But when I started doing content, I'd say about 2 years ago. I think I started October 18th of 2024. And I watched TLTG reviews, Kubano, EQ the Cypher, and Bowtie Fragrance Guy for the longest time. And then as a year went, I would say not a year, but a couple of months, a couple of my friends said, you should do your own content. Give it a shot. What do you got to lose? So I thought about it and I said, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'll give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Less views, no, nothing, And I look back at some of my older videos and I just laugh because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I never really cared for Jeremy Fragrance. Now, if he knocked off all that silly, stupid nonsense stuff, he would be a better person. But I'm not going to knock the guy. It's just, there is do's and don'ts. But if you want to look like a oxymoron, if I could be polite, on camera doing content and, other people are going to have different opinions. But I'm not going to hate on the guy or make fun of him. I haven't been in fragcom in the community very long, other than what? I think it's been going on 20 months now, maybe. Oh, well, see, I really don't really pay attention to Jeremy Fragrance. I skip past all of his stuff and I don't really follow up on the guy. But if you're gonna pull that kind of stuff to buy a vehicle, well, I have nothing to say. That's well, That's just not cool. But you know the saying, I believe in karma. Karma, what comes around goes around. And, Jeremy does what Jeremy does. And, you have fragrance reviewers and then you have influencers. I don't pay attention to influencers. Now, some of them might got their head in their right place, and that's fine. But with that being said, I think Jeremy Fragrance is somewhere stuck in the matrix down the rabbit hole, if that makes sense. Now, if he did mature some and knock off the silliness, he might change, but I don't think so. So maybe we should give that guy a good prayer. I don't know. But then again, if you're going to rob somebody of their money and turn around and buy a Ferrari, well, then you got what's coming to you, and eventually karma will catch up to you someday. What is my most complimented fragrance? So there's so many in my collection. Now, let me go back to that other kid's question. When did you start your fragrance collection? Well, let me sum it up. Long story short, my collection started overgrowing over time when I started getting budget friendly. That's where I started. Your Latafas, Mason Alhambra, Rasasi, yada, yada, yada. But once I started getting my nose on samples and decants of the originals, I stopped buying a lot of these budget friendly fragrances because now I own the originals. Some of them I'll keep for comparison purposes only, ones that I actually enjoy. The rest I gave away during this past Easter. I made a lot of kids in my community happy. I gave 40 fragrances away. Now, what is my most complimented fragrance? Louis Vuitton, Imagination, Zaharoff, Sun-Kissed Island, Mancera, Intense French Riviera, which I happen to have sitting right here, which is one of my newest pickups, and by far my favorite and over the original. And Mancera Intense French Riviera, Valentino Born in Roma Choral Fantasy, and let's see, what's the other one there? This one, Nishane, Fan Your Flames. I got a lot of compliments with this one. Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong with a pressurized atomizer. They definitely put out some juice. And another one here. Let's go with this one. Since I've had it, I've been getting a lot of compliments with Chanel Allure Home Sport Super Legra. So, and there's others to name that I've landed a lot of compliments, but the ones I just named are the most complimented. Silver Mountain Water. I haven't gotten my nose on that one, but it's not on my radar. And me neither. I don't really wear fragrance for compliments either. That's not my style. Moonlight. Hello. There's another one. Boise, 1920. I haven't got my nose in any of that yet. Yeah, that's true. For me, it's my personal experience. Some of these I have a personal connection to that gets a little deeper than just smelling good. Now, how many I have in my current collection? I'm pushing close to 300. I was at 250. I'm past that now. I recounted last night and I have a couple others on the way still. So I'm getting close to 300. Pacific rock flower. I heard I heard a buddy of mine talking about that in his live stream not too long ago. And from what I if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's tea in that fragrance. That's another fragrance house I gotta check out. What's the best long-lasting summer fragrance? Currently, as of right now, long-lasting, Intense French Riviera, the newest, far as niche goes. I'm getting a whopping 10 hours on skin. On my skin alone. Not everybody is gonna get that, but I am getting 10 hours off this one. And that is because of the vetiver and Virginia cedar in the base. And I really like that one. And the oud, nothing funky either about it, but it does come off with a little of a spicy tone. So that's where the spiciness comes in, at least on my skin. What do I think of Creed Aventus? Now I have decants of all the Aventus flankers. I think Creed Aventus is absolutely stunning, regardless if it's weak or how many times they've been reformulated. I still like them. My favorite, Absolute Aventus. It's a little, you know, a darker twist off the Aventus, but expensive. But that's my favorite one. Not many people find it popular, but out of the other two, that's my go-to. Creed Aventus Cologne. My brother loves that one the most. He doesn't care for what, the Aventus EDP. He thought it was just not his thing. Absolute Aventus he likes, so he's like me. Me and him, we do like fragrance. At one time, my brother had a lot. I think he was close to 400, but he downsized. He bought a lot of stuff based off other reviewers and found out a lot of these fragrances never really last. So he sold a lot of them, but he kept the ones that he enjoys. So now I think he's around, I want to say 190, but he hasn't really been buying much either. Supernova. I got a couple by Gritty. I have a couple. The only one I have by Club NOE Intense Man, I like the X-Straight version the best. That one performs the best on my skin based off my skin chemistry and how my body oil reacts to it. I get the best performance from that one. In the opening, yeah, intense citrus bomb, citrus heavy, but it does settle down and it gets better. And man, that one, I would consider this one a compliment monster magnet. This is my favorite one. Out of them all, I have a backup of this one. It's not even open, but I think my bottle's half empty already. And this one performs the best for me. And usually, whatever I'm in the mood for. So, like this whole week, I've been wearing phenomenal stuff. And I will have my weekly rotation video up this Tuesday. And it's some might surprise you. But I'll tell you, my most favorite uh, inspo inspired twist that I got this year, another one. And I didn't buy this. This actually got gifted to me by a good friend of mine. And he told me I had to get my nose on it because I'm familiar with Creed Virgin Island water. Now, on my skin, I don't find it necessarily to be a dupe 100%. It's not carbon copy, it's not one to one. However, I find it to be a twist off that DNA. And I'm talking about Rayhan Aquatica. Now, here's what I get. The opening, I get a citrus bomb, lime bergamot heavy. After 5 minutes, out comes coconut with mandarin behind it. And once the heart starts to reveal itself, I get ginger, which adds a slight spice edge to it. And then I get some florals and I get hibiscus. And I think there's jasmine, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe lily of the valley, one of those two, but there is white florals. And that is what makes that coconut creamy. But here's the catch. This is where it gets crazy. Once the dry down comes in, you got rum and sugar cane. And then that coconut gets boozy. And that is such a phenomenal summer banger by Raihan. And I think this is by far Raihan's best fragrance they came out with so far. And here we go. My friend just texted me, and I got to get this out of my live stream. So there's another good choice. And let's see, because of my first buy of Boadicea, I'm looking maybe at buying, oh, Bodacious? Go for it. I have another niche on the way. Um, Unique Luxury Burrell. I had a sample of it. I spent a good amount of time with it. And man, is that a beautiful citrus aquatic fragrance with phenomenal performance. So I finally pulled the trigger on a full bottle of from a house I've been wanting to really explore. And I have some other samples out of my discovery kit from Unique Luxury. Another one I'm spending time with is Istanbul, and I really like how that one performs on my skin. So I'm gonna give it a few more days, and then I'll probably do first impressions on that, do a video. Yeah, Burrell is my favorite. That's my number one favorite from that house. And I find it to be signature scent worthy. And I got a good deal on it. Now that one's like high 200s, and I only paid 120 bucks for it. So I got a steal. It's such a beautiful fragrance. So I saved the last bit of spray out of my sample for a special day. And why I like it so much, um, I might get a little personal, but nothing bad. But my aunt, my favorite aunt that I lost last year Thanksgiving, she wore this perfume, and it's not entirely the same DNA, but it reminded me of Burrell by Unique Luxury, and that's why I like it so much. It gives me some comforting memories of my aunt. And I remember this fragrance my aunt wore. She wasn't too big on perfumes, but she liked some of them. She had this some perfume that she wore when she used to get all fancy and dialed up and go out to like birthday parties and that kind of stuff. So that's why I like Unique Luxury Burrell so much. No, I haven't tried the Mediterranean, and the only ones I have is smelling a can of what is that? Hanneman from I had to buy it. Also, yeah, Boozy Cherry Frag. Yeah, my aunt was something else. She wasn't crazy for all fragrance, because even some of the ones I wore around, she would say I'd smell like a French whore, and that it's too strong, and it's like, you know, she had her convictions. But other than that, some of them she appreciated. The last time I got to see her, I wore Sun-Kissed Island by Zaharoff, and she liked that one a lot. You know, fortunately, it's part of life. You know, we're all gonna eventually, you know, go on, pass on, and go where we gotta go. But I'll say this much, I will be buried with my cologne, because at least then I know the ground around me will be smelling good. Yeah, some days I have my moments, you know, it's still kinda, kinda feels it's a hard way to put it, you know? In a way, she was like another mother to me. She used to watch me after school. She taught me how to cook, bake, sew, how to budget my money, how to side hustle, how to, fix things out of dumpster diving and turn them around and sell them on Facebook Market to make some extra money, and I kinda do that. So she taught me a lot of good skills to have in life. So let's get off that topic. So where was I? I don't know if any of you guys saw my comparison video on Mancera Intense French Riviera versus the original French Riviera, and I gotta say, this is by far my favorite one, and I'm happy to add this to my personal collection. What I like about this one, it's slightly loud and it settles down. And I feel like you know, kind of has like this bubble gummy heart, but it kind of does settle down. And once the oud I pick up here, it's got this spicy tone to it. In fact, I'm gonna spray it a couple times because I really love this. So yeah, in the opening, you got a bubblegummy scent, but it settles down and it gets really nice. But once you get to the heart, it it does get quite masculine on my skin. I don't get all of the heart notes, but I get the opening, and out comes that oud that gives a spicy aroma, and that's why I like this one so much. And then you got vetiver and cedar, and I find this one to be slightly little more salty, oceanic. Such a good one. And it's definitely worth having because I find this one you could wear year round, not just summer or everyday wearing. Blue Talisman, yeah, that is a good one. I uh I had a sample. I killed it, but I have probably 10 more samples. Eventually, I will get Blue Talisman. Ah, man. Uh, I don't really have that many clones in my collection. I gave them away. If you ignore the performance scent-wise, it's 10 out of 10. Uh, I'm not crazy for clones. I guess that's because I own the originals, and I gave a lot of my clones away. Now, inspired twists off DNAs, yeah, I'll rock those, but a clone, I don't want nothing to do with it. It's hard for me to buy a clone. I just can't. I had my likes. I'm just not crazy for clones anymore. I'm over that hype, and I outgrew that phase. I don't chase hype. But if I had to say one, a clone, if I could say one, probably probably this one, off 9 p.m. Now, that is a full bottle. And why is that? I just can't wear it. But top five, this would be number one. And my brother goes crazy for this. And I'm not a huge fan of ultra male DNA, but I'm just not crazy for dupes. I'm not crazy for clones. It's just, I don't know. I kind of outgrew that. But I'll give you top five. Even I just don't wear these. I use them for comparison videos only. But off 9 p.m. would be number one. Number two, I would go with this one because this one gets you close to the real DNA. You Are My Fire by Zakat, which is 90% closer to that real Gotta Fire DNA. Sad part, it doesn't last long. And I like this one more than Vulcan Few by Fragrance World because this one is closer to that real DNA. And I have a 10 mil decant of the real stuff. This one gets you closer. That would be number two. And number three, why not? Luciano Coastal Breeze. Dead on to Louis Vuitton Pacific Chill. I've worn this quite a bit. And I used to own Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton, Unfortunately, I sold it, which was stupid on my end, but at the time, I needed the money. And eventually, I will have Pacific Chill back in my collection because I really enjoy that fragrance. But this one is by far the best, and if not the best, for a closer twist on that DNA, this one beats all of those dupes out there. And I can vouch and stand on that and back the facts up because I still have all of my samples of Pacific Chill, but I would say this is 90% close. It's dead on. And side by side comparison, you really can't tell a difference once it's in the heart or the dry down. And number three, there you go, Latafa Assad, a fresher twist off Sauvage Elixir. That's number three. And let's see here. This one, Risasi Huas Fire, which is a dupe of Gisa Imperial Valley. They did a phenomenal job with this one. And why not? Our Moth Club Ennui Intense Man Extrait. I find this to be the best twist on Creed Absolute Aventus. And let's see. And why not? Where's that one? I think it's hiding back right here. This one. Rayhan Obsidian. Little bit of that old school Dior Homme Parfum from 2014 and a little from the newer version. Such a good clone. Now, fortunately, I cannot find Dior Homme 2014 or I would have bought it. So this is probably the only one I would actually still wear. So those would be my top five. I had Tarathi Blue Electric, and sadly, that was 3 hours on skin. I gave it away. I was disappointed in that one. Yes, and you're welcome. And you're saving your pennies for Outlands by Amouage. Yeah, that is up there. I'm probably I'm watching my eyes out on another Amouage. I only own two so far. And the only two I have is Reflection and Meander. And I believe Thursday I will have my top 10 hidden gem, like slept on video out. And I got some really amazing uh, fragrances in that video that'll be out this coming Thursday. Meander by Umwash. That is such a beautiful fragrance. That one, if you guys enjoy hiking out on a mountainous landscape and you like, hiking up mountains, that fragrance by Umwash really transports you to that kind of feel and gives you that literal like vibe of being out on a mountainous landscape. It's such a good fragrance. Yeah, that one's okay. I'm not too crazy for it. I like Overture more than that one. Hey, there you go. Nothing wrong with Greenlee. That's a good one. The only one I own from PDM is right here currently, and it happens to be my number one favorite out of them all. I haven't really got around to getting another full bottle, but in May, I will be pulling the trigger on another PDM. I'm just not too sure yet. I'm either gonna get Castley or I'm gonna get Leighton or Sedley. So it all depends. But this is my all-time favorite. Some people don't like it. Some people hate it. I really love this one. It's such a good fragrance. And Leighton exclusive is the one I am really drawn to. Leighton exclusive is my favorite over the original. And let's get that out of there too. Pegasus exclusive I like more. That I wouldn't mind owning, but the original, it's a nice amp. I think a nice fougere. But if when I get a bottle of Pegasus, I'm going with Pegasus exclusive. And I like Ojan, and I like Habdon and Carlisle. That's all I really like by Parfums de Marly. I don't like anything else. Yeah, I I'm kinda I'm picky with, Parfums de Marly. Very, very picky. I find the black bottles more interesting. And, I like, Leighton Exclusive a little more because I find it to be a little dark. I have tons of decants. Like, I have a little box down here filled with a bunch of different sized decants. I got, excuse me, a top drawer dresser drawer filled with other decants from other luxury niche houses, so and lately, I'm currently going down my list of what I have, that I'm just clearing it down, and then, when I get lower, I will pull the trigger on some stuff. Yeah, some people feel that way. Ojan could be headache inducing for some. I find Ojan to be a better performer over Angel Share. Angel Share is not my favorite at all. I think I get 4 hours on skin, so it would be a waste to pull the trigger on that one. What I like by Killian, I like, Old Fashioned, Angel Share on the Rocks. Now that one I really, really like. That one, I have the best performance. So Old Fashioned, Angel Share on the Rocks would probably be the only 2 from the boozy line I would own, but Angel Share, I don't know. Nothing against it. I just feel like it's overrated and played out. I'm just not, crazy for it. Yeah, I just don't find, I haven't really find anything creative from Parfums de Marly other than the older ones. Their new one is redundant, what or not the other collection they have that are really expensive, those other bottles, but, Castley. There's some redundancy there, you know? It's another clean year-round fragrance. You know, if you own Greenlee or if you own Sedley, there's no point of having Castley. I'm just not I don't know. I'm just not crazy for Killian, except, Angel Share on the Rocks and Old Fashioned. Eventually, they'll be in my collection somewhere down the road, but they're not at the top of my list. Now, some of the other ones that my buddy told me to check out, some of these other ones, I probably will. Um, One in particular I would like to get a full bottle of is I think it's called Dark Lord by Killian. Now that is something I find interesting because it's very dark, very mature, and very smoky, and I like my smoky fragrances. Now, here's a couple of brands, luxury niche houses that most people don't talk about. And Primera Kuwait Parfums. I've been doing some research and I've been hearing a lot of phenomenal things. And in fact, my buddy, Hidden Gems, shout outs. He's got Smoky Jazz and Vanilla Leather by Primera Kuwait Parfums. And I looked them up on Parfumo, especially Smoky Jazz. Man, that one's got a 9.1 out of 10 ratings. I've read everybody's reviews, and out of all these reviews, not one person had nothing bad to say about it. So I'm gonna have to get my nose on a bottle because I like smoky fragrances. Now, what I can say, it's got some red apple up top, some spices, and it really gets smoky. I almost fell there. Damn. And then on top of it, uh, what is another one? I think Vanilla Leather. I would like to check that one out. And Maverick. And I feel like these houses are getting slept on, and not a lot of people check them out or give them a chance, and they're worth checking out. Recommendations for 2 summer and spring fragrances. Aromatic Sunkissed, that can be spring or summer. Rayhan Aquatica, that could be spring or no, summer. If you're looking niche, Mancera, Vetiver Sensuel, you could rock that all year round. Or if you want something salty, floral, like you're on a coastal breeze, Mancera, French Riviera, the original. Or, you know, this would be another good one. Are you going to jail for wearing side effect in the summer? No. Oh, yeah, Kajal Icon. I gatekeep that one. I have now back to that guy's question. Yeah, here you go. There's another one for spring, summer. Ahmed Al Maghribi Spectrum Chill. 60 to 70% Pacific chill with a tropical twist. You can't go wrong with that. I don't think he's going to jail for wearing side effect in the summer. I would. And you know me, I'll wear whatever I want, regardless of what season it is. My pops is the same way. He wears Mancera red tobacco year round, spring, summer, fall, winter, and he doesn't care what other people think. Yeah, exactly. I don't always go by seasons. I rarely don't. Now, when I'm doing my content and doing my thing, yeah, I'm gonna be honest and recommend what occasions and all that good stuff is for. But outside of content, I wear whatever the heck I want when I want. And if people complain, too bad. It's my skin. It's that simple. But, you know, like today. Yeah, I know. But I just like kind of like to bust your balls a little. I sometimes like to give my friend Joe a little shit. I like to bust his chops and break his balls a little. It's kind of a little fun thing. But other than that, I know he was only kidding. Now, yeah, he can take it. That's a good one. 10 out of 10. I agree with you. Falcon leather? Hell yeah. X straight version is good too. Top three freshies? Well, designer level, Chanel Allure Home Sport Superleggera, um, Polo 67 Extreme, which will be in my collection soon, but I got my nose on it. And another designer, YO Fresh, even though it's discontinued, but it's still good. Now, top three freshies, far as niche goes, Vetiver Sensuelle by Mancera, Creed Royal Water, and this guy right here, my newest and latest pickup from Zerjoff. I'll go with this one, 40 knots. Hell yeah. Definitely worth having. Best Arab fragrance? Best? Okay, I'll give you best. Right here. And this is just under Umwash. And this is another high-end luxury niche fragrance house from Dubai. The Spirit of Dubai, Bahar. And I would take this over any dupe, clone, or inspired twist, regardless. Phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff. And Joel got me into this one. Bahar. The scent profile is ridiculous. There's probably 40 notes in this. I never got my nose on it, unfortunately. But Bahar, if you was to Google it on Parfumo Stanford and look at the scent profile, It's just crazy. I think it's like this. There's just so many notes. But the best way I can describe this is in the spring notes pop. During the summer notes pop. And during the fall and winter, the notes pop, the heavier ones come out. And this is such a phenomenal fragrance. Absolute banger. It performs really well. It's aquatic, fruity, floral, woodsy, slightly spicy, and it does not disappoint. I would definitely look it up. Now, this is a 50 mil, and I got this from Max Aroma back, I want to say, maybe a year ago, some point in time during the, no, maybe previous year. I think it was previous year. Yeah, I think it's got 100 notes, somewhere around there. And I got this probably maybe 2 years ago. I wanna say that. And man, such a good fragrance. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It's a shapeshifter. Every time I put my nose to it, it's a different smell. Right here, it's called the Spirit of Dubai. Spirit of Dubai, and the fragrance is spelled Bahar. Do I like Bahara King Parfum? I never got my nose on it, and I never really explored anything from Bahara. And I don't know. Some of my friends say stay away from Bahara. They're kind of crap. I don't know. Some say check them out. And after all the reviews I've seen, I don't know. A lot of their scent profiles don't convince me enough to pull the trigger on anything. And far as tobacco goes, uh, probably my favorite tobacco style fragrance would be Zaharoff Leather Tobacco, the original batch that is discontinued. Should see how dark that fragrance is since I've had it. I think it's back here. I've had this for a long time, and I got this probably the fourth month I was doing content, and I spent time with a sample. And this was my very first Zaharoff fragrance I ever bought. And it has matured more, it has gotten darker. And when it comes to tobacco, this is my go to. Now, here's the funny thing with the original batch by Zaharoff, it's pungent, it's very smoky, very, very smoky because it has birch tar. Now, here's the wild part. I wear this in the summer, and I only wear it when it's like upper 60s, upper 70s, and it doesn't get cloying for me at all. At all. I don't get that cloying problem. And I wear this in the summer. And I think one of the reasons why I like it, it has plum. And this, I would take this over Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford any day. And I get crazy projection, crazy sillage and crazy longevity. Yeah, Seraphim Red's good, Seraphim Blue is good. I like Seraphim Couche, that is another really nice vetiver fragrance I tend to wear once in a while. I own a lot from, I own a lot from, Zaharoff. I think I'm around 16 or 17. I think. Do you know Tra Fragrances? No. And Johnny Walker. Hmm. You think you know me? Or do you know Joe? Okay. So you're a mod for him. Okay. I never really checked that guy's channel out. There's so many people out in the fragcom on YouTube. I don't always get to watch everybody's lives because outside of content, I'm very busy. But I'm usually hanging out in Hidden Gems channel. Sometimes, if not so famous YouTuber is live, I'll hang out in his. And usually I catch the replays. Most of the time, I'm at TLTG Reviews channel. So, I'd say the last few months, my life has been hectic and it gets really busy. So some days I'm home late and I just want to go to bed. Other days I'm busy doing other stuff outside of content. Hey, what's up, Grim? What's what's your scent of the day? I'm certain you're rocking something good. Ah, shit. And speaking of that, there's my other mod. What's going on, Grim? What you been up to, buddy? It's been a minute. And what you rocking today? What's your scent of the day? I know you're probably wearing something good. Have you I know you got Cree Virgin Island water, but I'm just curious. Did you get the Rayhan Aquatica by any chance, or did you pass on it? Oh, just got out of work. Oh, there you go. Speechless. Now, that is another fragrance brand I plan on checking out. And I found a discovery kit that I'm gonna buy eventually. And I want to check out Lorenzo. And I hear they're pretty good. And I hear there's some phenomenal bangers. So that's that's a house I'm definitely gonna be checking out. I found a full discovery kit that comes with, I think, 10. I think all of them. I really like Aquatica on my skin. It performs so damn good. But here's the thing, though. I don't find it to be an outright dupe on my skin because, like, for me, on my skin, it's citrus heavy, intense, but settles down Once the coconut comes out, the mandarin is, like, behind it, and then once the hearts open up, the heart comes in, gets kinda creamy, but once that sugar cane and rum comes in, that fragrance gets downright boozy for me. It turns into a boozy coconut. And I only have a little decant of Virgin Island water. I really don't find it that close, maybe 30% close, cheaper quality, but I get mad longevity, sillage, and projection for me. I don't know, but this one performs really pretty decent for me. I like it. So maybe I'll check out the one from Kevin and see what his version is like. Because there is some others I want from Kevin, not just his dupes. I want to get another one of his original. I want to get Fresh Fade. I hear the Fresh Fade is good. Yeah, I got that. I got your code bookmark on my phone. I'll tell you, my favorite one by Kevin, it's somewhere over here, is his original, is cherry smoked bourbon. It's hands down my favorite. Nice. That's my absolute favorite from Kevin. He does amazing work. And he knows what he's doing. Cherry smoked bourbon is worth checking out. Thanks to my buddy Jason. He told me how good it was, so I blind bought that, and it's phenomenal, and it performs really well for me. So I'm happy to have that in my personal collection. There's some others I do want from Kevin. I just haven't got around to getting them yet, but pretty soon I'm gonna get the Fresh Fade. I'm gonna get one of the Andy Warhol fragrances. I think it's Purple Rain because I love plum, and I want to get that one. And there's some other. I want that Alabama snow cone. I would like to grab that one. There's quite a bit. I have a list. There's like at least 4 of them I want for sure. And he's super affordable and he's not that crazy expensive either. Yeah, I want Purple Rain. And I want to there was some other ones. I want to check out uh it's bookmarked on my phone. Can't think of the name. But the Fresh Fade is for one. Purple Rain, I think the other one, his dupe on Louis Vuitton Rain Tea Moontail Ink Mark, I wanna get those and see how how good they are. Because 'cause I'm lucky to have the samples of Rain Tea, Moontail, and Ink Mark by Louis Vuitton. And I'll say this much, Rain Tea by Louis Vuitton, the Journey to China collection, it's definitely a fresher twist off Imagination by Louis Vuitton. It's really, really super fresh. Oh, yeah? Venom Incarnate? I'll have to check it out. Yeah, if I want a dupe and I want a clone, I'm gonna just get something from Kevin because he's got his game down. He knows what the hell he's doing. And I tell you, uh, Gourmand Paradise. All right. And I kid you not, for a while, I didn't believe some people on Instagram because sometimes, I got to do my own research. I got to get my nose on things and get the experience and see for myself. And Gourmand Paradise by Sensual Obsessions. Shout out to Kevin. This is by far one of the best, if not the best, top tier clones when it comes to Casmerati Italica by Zerjoff. This is hands down the best, and it performs so good. Now, I am familiar with Italica, and it's my favorite vanilla fragrance. Probably the only one I like. So I had to have this, and I wanted to check it out. This is absolutely phenomenal. And another thing I like about him is his bottles are pressurized. All that juice that comes out. This, when it comes to vanilla, 10 out of 10. Especially if you like vanilla fragrance, that is worth owning. And it performs really, really well. I wouldn't want to wear that in the summer, maybe summer evening or on a cooler days, but that's strictly fall and winter. That's worth having in your collection, especially if you don't want to spend crazy money. It's worth having. Wow. It is 8:07. I'm probably going to stick around for another 5 minutes. And after that, I'm going to go eat. But, Grim, have you gotten your nose on this? Thriller 3, Cal Cologne, and Mason Asnar. This was my other free giveaway that I won off Instagram. And this one's not bad. It's pretty good. And the other free giveaway I won was Aromatic Sunkissed. I participated in a free giveaway on Instagram and I won Aromatic Sunkissed and this Thriller 3. I have a sample or decant of the real stuff that it's cloning, and it's relatively close to the real stuff. It's grown up, it's mature, and I can see why Cal Cologne went that route and why he wanted it because it's definitely worth having in your collection. It's a beautiful fragrance. And I got to do my review on that soon. I got a bunch of really cool, interesting videos coming out soon. So, weekly rotation that I wore this week will be up Tuesday this coming week. Thursday, I got a cool top 10 video dropping. Be sure to check it out. It's another top 10 green bottle. I did another open tag. So if Grim, you're interested, top 10 green bottles. And it's spring, summer fragrances. So it'll be up this Thursday. I'll, tag you in the video. If you're interested, I'll share it to my community tab. But I really like enjoying doing these top 10, videos, top 10 green, top 10 blue bottles performed good. So I'm curious to see how my top 10 green bottles is going to perform. And I got some really good fragrances in that video. And I got a lot of new content coming up. and especially in the May. I got some new things lined up. And April 22nd, I have a special guest on my channel. I created a new series called Fragrance Madness, where it'll be my top pick against another opponent's top pick, and we just go back and forth and talk about it. And then people in the chat or in the community can vote whose fragrance is better. So I just like giving something back to the fragrance community of people who create fragrance content so they can participate if they want to participate. So I got a really good special guest coming on my channel April 22nd. It's going to be fun. And I'm really interested this time to see what he's going to pick because I know he has phenomenal luxury niche fragrances, designer, all kinds of stuff. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to have and what he's bringing to the table. So without further ado, I appreciate for the ones who came, who stayed, but I'm going to shut it down. It's getting kind of late. I got to eat. And for the time you've been here, Grim, I appreciate you showing up. As always, remember, smell your best, and God bless. Thank you for coming. Have a great week, Monday through Friday. Stay safe. God bless. And rock out. Peace out. And if you're live, Grim, I'll find you.